If you or anyone you know are in postpartum or any sort of healing and recovery, then you need to learn this recipe. Stick around to find out why. Today, I'm sharing with you guys my mom's recipe for KAACHI, and let me tell you, Persian Halva Pudding is easier to make than you probably think. It is different from the traditional halva, which I will leave a link to that video down below. From the lens of Eastern medicine, all the ingredients in this recipe are incredibly warming and moisturizing from the inside out. So we are putting all of the nuts into the blender now. We want to get them finely ground so that they have a nice little bite to them in the pudding, but not big chunks. And next we are moving on to the flour. We're going to add it to this nonstick pot. I just have it on high heat at the beginning to get the pot hot, but then after the pot is nice and hot, you definitely want to lower it as low as you can because we are in the roasting process and flour is very sensitive. So if you happen to step away from it and the heat is high, you're going to have burnt flour. So moving on to the next chunk of the recipe, it's going to be our saffron rosewater, like the sweet liquid that we're going to add to our flour. So adding the 6 cups of water. My water, I already have it boiled in my electric kettle, so that definitely speeds up the process. And then I'm measuring out 2 cups of sugar here. I'm going to add that to the pot. Now, it's not a syrup that we're making here. We just want the sugar to dissolve, kind of like if you saw the halva video. My little man is grinding my saffron for me. If you have saffron threads, you absolutely want to use your saffron in powder form. I will just reiterate that anywhere that I can. That will give you more flavor and more color, just maximum potency. It will give you more bang for your buck. So I'm going to lower the flame under this as well. So for this, for the flour, after you see that it's starting to change a little bit of color, like go from like a light color to a more tan color, it's time to add your nuts that you ground and go ahead and stir it in. Now that our sugar is fully dissolved, we can add our saffron, stir it in, and then the final step is adding the rose water, turning off the heat, stirring it in, and just take your pot off of the heat. I'm raising the heat under this nonstick pot just a little because the flour is ready, the nuts have been incorporated really well, and I'm going to add the ghee and olive oil now. 1/4 cup of ghee. And 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. I know that some of you may be thinking, why olive oil? Why extra virgin? It has like a flavor and a smell, a taste. But you guys, I'm just going to be honest. If you've ever seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and if you remember the dad and his connection with Windex, he used Windex to fix everything, heal everything. Olive oil is my mom's Windex. All right, now we're on to the final step of combining the two. So I'm slowly adding, scoop by scoop, the saffron sugar liquid to the flour nut mixture. I guess flour, nut, and oil mixture. And we're going to be stirring it in little by little until we get to the consistency that we want, which is what I would equate to a soupy consistency, not like a broth, and we don't want it to be thick either. So you can see right now it's like the liquid getting mixed in, but it's still pretty chunky. Just keep adding the liquid. Honestly, with these exact measurements of these ingredients, you're more than likely going to get the perfect consistency. But if for any reason you add all of your liquid to the flour and for some reason you feel like it's really thick and not soupy, you can add a little bit of boiling water and you'll be fine. So go ahead and watch this all the way through. Make sure you see what the final consistency looks like, because when it's hot and fresh, it's naturally going to be a more runny consistency, which is going to be perfect for transferring it over to whatever containers you are going to serve or store it in. Now, if this is for you or a friend who's postpartum, I definitely recommend transferring it over to glass jars or glass Pyrexes. If you can split it, or even if you wanted to put it in really, really small jars, I say that because then they can have one out on their countertop, have a spoonful whenever they're needing that burst of energy, whether they're breastfeeding or sleep deprived, feeling weak, or post surgery. The other one can be waiting for them in the fridge and then they can pull it out whenever they're ready. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys again next week.